Hi, this is Andy with Mountain Computers. Today is April 4th. It's a Thursday, and we're going to cover something that came up on the internet real quick, and it's talking about full stack developers. And who are they, when are they, why do they exist? And today, this video was made especially for you by City of Reno, Believe, Zazzle, 30 years, Believe in Reno. Our sponsor, not yet, Zazzle. And this goes to Tech Lead, since he drinks coffee so much. Here's one to you. All right, Patrick. That is so good, coffee. Everybody has to drink coffee. Just have really good toothpaste that works, okay? So anyhow, this right here is what I call full stack. It's no surprise, I collect encyclopedias. I read encyclopedias. However, when it comes to a full stack like this, I have two of them here. One of them's the LAMP stack, and then the other is the .NET stack. That's this one right here. Okay. So what are the differences? And you'll notice that the numbers on these are 1 through 7. 1 through 7 for a reason. So, there is a stack, a network stack, OSI model. It has to do with how you deal with, I don't know, IEEE, ANSI, you name it. But full stack developers, those aren't the same. IEEE, I know what full stack developers are. Those are the people. Do they get paid a lot? They get paid okay. Depends. But what is a full stack developer? Full stack developer. This was triggered on full stack development classes. But let's talk about what a full stack developer is and is not. And then I'll apply it to this stack over here. So, a full stack developer is, in my world, sort of nerdy way to say, I can do a little of everything, okay? But can they? Can they really do a little of everything? Or can they just skim the surface and get something done quick and fast? Probably the latter. Something down and dirty and hand it off to somebody else and let them figure it out later how it really works. I don't know. I think that's probably being a little bit rough on those full stack developers. But the reality is, full stack, you have a front end, which is your UI, and your back end, which is your server. And most software developers and stuff like that, they don't care about the hardware necessarily. They just want it to run. And they're usually on a high-end machine, so they don't know what it feels like to run it on a 386. So they're running it on a Pentium 4, and us, the users, were on a 286. So I often tend to make developers work on the same platform that the customers are on. They'll say, oh yeah, my development tools simulate that situation. No, it doesn't. Just shut up. When somebody says, I'm working in an emulator that should simulate the real world, they're idiots. Try it on an actual real tablet or a real 286 or 386 or on dial-up. So front-end technologies, HTML, CSS. Yes, you'd have to know that. Bootstrap, that's a fancy way of saying something that actually works on all devices. React.js, AngularJS, and that's just another language, set of JavaScript stuff. Front-end, back-end, high performance, you name it. Is it complicated? No. Back-end technologies, PHP, Python, Java. Now we're talking about the open stack. We're not talking about the .NET stack, the Microsoft stack. And databases, MySQL, MongoDB. Wasn't there a security issue with MongoDB recently? Even though it is awesome. I've done development beta testing on that. PostgreSQL, I've been working on that for 20 years. My favorite is obviously SQL Server for Microsoft or some derivative of that. Third-party integrations, Bugsy, Twilio, Zapier, Amazon SNS. Oh, and as far as full-stack developers go, you must know how to debug and log your activities, both in debug mode as well as in release mode. Okay? Logging, request response tracing, security. Most developers that I know of have no idea what security is about. However, when I work with them, I tell them, okay, so your security works all the way through all the stack, from layer 1 all the way to layer 7. And by the way, layer 8 is the human, the person on top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? File storage, yeah, that's easy. Now let's talk about compliance. Do developers understand compliance? Unless they actually were developing in the production environment, they don't know what PCI compliance is. They don't know what HIPAA compliance is. They'll probably read a specification and do something like that. Software architectures, you got to understand what architectures are to begin with. Lots of people are coming up with their own architectures, a la the full stack developer, a la, Scrum. What's Scrum? CRUD. 20, 30 years ago, we had all these frameworks, and they were based on big iron companies that come out with this, IBM framework, or the Microsoft framework, or Cisco, or Xerox. Some of the, Fortune 500 companies had these beautiful frameworks, and some of them were really complicated, and some of them were a little bit bloated, with too much documentation. Pages like this page intentionally left blank, that kind of stupidity. Development tools, network architecture. You got to know network architectures. Now, some people don't understand what token ring is. They say peer-to-peer and client-server architecture. There's a lot more than that. Cloud services, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Services. They did mention those three. However, back before all this happened, we had what's called mainframes and timeshares. And not the condo townhouses. It was actually a real timeshare where every month you got like 30 minutes of CPU time. So full stack developers. HTML, CSS, yep. 3.02, 4.01, so HTML5, CSS 1, 2, 3. Bootstrap, I do a lot of bootstrapping now. It's okay. My IDE, my integrated development environment, it's okay. On the Mac, or even on Linux. React.js, I do a lot of JavaScript. But for a full stack developer, do you hire them? Yes. Can you fire them? Yes. What's important about a full stack developer? I think they're overpaid for what they do. Really. I might get a lot of flames for that, but a real systems developer gets paid a lot more. One who really understands front end, really understands back end, and then hands off the UI to somebody who's gonna, it's like handing off your car to marketing, and they put bumper stickers and add chrome and fuzzy dice and all this stuff that slows down your car, or a governor on your engine. They add all this bloatware. As a systems engineer, systems integrator, systems developer, analyst, I can tell you right now, when you understand this stack right here, layer 1, wires. Layer 2, some networking and protocols and switching. Layer 3, in here there's quality control framing, all sorts of security stuff going on here. Layer 4, there's presentation stuff going on here. Level 5, layer 5, layer 6, your application, your session, your hosting, different protocols, your application layer, where you have all sorts of things going on. So when I was at Microsoft, we knew what the OSI model was, and then they came out with the TCP/IP model. So let me tell you about the layers. So layer 1, physical, layer 2, data, layer 3, network, layer 4, transport, layer 5, session, layer 6, presentation, layer 7, application, and layer 8 is me, you, the user. So let's talk about these things real quick. Layer 1, physical. Okay, so if you are, let's change gears from full stack developers to just basically systems development. There's people who write compilers, people who work in the processor world that work, down in assembly all day long. That's a specialist. A full stack developer is sort of a jack of all trades, master of none. That's not for everybody. Me, I'm wide and deep when it comes to understanding all of that. Now there's things that I just won't do. I will not do layer 1. Layer 1. I mean, I'll put a Cat 5 jack on the end of a Cat 5e wire or something like that. An RJ45, sorry. Connector. But I won't pull wires. Now you're getting into hazmat stuff, and you're getting into all sorts of physical tearing apart walls and getting up in the ceilings and pulling things under houses and buildings. I don't do that. Layer 1 people, you know who you are and you like doing it. And there's money to be made in that. Layer 2. Data link. Okay, layer 2. Let's talk about that real quick. A media access control. Got that. Every network card in the world has a unique MAC address. That's how it really works. Not your IP address, not your IPv6. It really is your media access, that MAC address that's unique on every single one. And the first 2 digits are basically the vendor code. PPP protocol. Well, that's radius. UT layer 3 network stuff. Message delivery. Blah blah blah. Layer 3. That's pretty crazy. There's a lot of security going on at that layer. Transport, segmentation, flow control, error control. I don't know. Those are back in the days. I mean, back in layer 1 where you have serial, RS-232, that kind of stuff going on. As you move higher up, that's sort of like, you sort of forget those layers. Session layers 5. Session 6 is presentation layer. Yeah, EBCDIC, ASCII coded, objects, data structures, XML, blah blah blah. Not much about that. Application layer, cross-layer functions, interfaces. Let's see. Application, zip. Wow. X400, X500. Yeah. Layer 6. Mine, TLS, XDR, AFP again. Layer 5, sockets, TCP, got that. Netware, wow. Layer 4, TCP, UDP, yeah, I got that. SCTP, no. DCCP, no. Layer 3, oh, that's where you get into OSPF, BGP, IGPMP, you know, all of your networking stuff. Your data link, PPP, SLIP, wow, SLIP. SBTV, didn't remember that one. And then physical. Twin X, RS-232, phone net. Well, that's it about the ISO stack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Full stack developer. That's more software. That's a different stack. The LAMP stack, the Microsoft stack. There's one over here called a SCRUM Master. I was looking at some things. What are SCRUM Masters? You know, a SCRUM Master is really a person who is inside the team that used to be outside the team that was dotted line reporting to the team and to their manager. So a Scrum Master is a person who basically keeps the external person out that used to come in and make sure everything was running smooth. They've got ways of what do you call it, insulating themselves to say, oh, we've got everything under control. We don't need anybody on the outside looking at our team, our developer, our business manager, the stakeholder. We don't need anybody from the outside in the corporation because we've got a Scrum Master, and that Scrum Master is going to take care of all of this transparency issues. That's a funny way to look at it, but when I read this, I said, well, that sounds like a person who works inside the team who used to work outside the team, like a program manager, that wasn't even part of the development team or the team that was developing the product. You know, it's just a person who manages a lot of projects, or senior program managers that sort of manage programs and policies and stuff like that. So anyhow, full stack developer, very important. Am I one of those? Not really. I'm a systems integrator. I write software from the front end all the way to the back end. Do full stack developers understand hardware, servers, architectures in the cloud and stuff like that? Sort of. Do they know how it really works? No. Do they care? No. Do I know? Yes. Have I seen it? Yes. Just go into a data center. You will see layer 1 through 4. 5, 6, and 7. Yeah, that's over at the Scrum Master, and that's over in the full stack developers world. Other than that, though, it's pretty simple. Anyhow, like, subscribe, and share. This is Andy from Mountain Computers. Just wanted to tell you happy Thursday, and I've got so much to do. I just got back from running some appointments, and thank you so much for Zazzle being my sponsor in the future. Good coffee cups. I got 4 of them. Got those at a City of Reno State of the City presentation a couple of years ago, and The city manager, she was okay. She could do better, but like everybody, even me. So anyhow, that's it for today. Like, subscribe, and share, and we'll be back soon. Bye.